Okay. Sorry, guys. I was like talking and you weren't recording. Ripley, go away. And so, apparently I did something and now I don't know what I did. So, hopefully this works, and I'm just gonna be talking to you right now about what I was talking about before. So, this is my Medieval-A-Thon TBR. It's from May 1st to May 31st. 30th. 31st. I was right the first time. So this is my little layout. I have the ranks, the different prompts. I even have the pets. So I do have this all planned out. I do have a book for each prompt. Now I don't have all the books with me, and quite a few of them are on my phone. So I will, for the ones that I don't have with me or are on my phone, I will try and get the picture of the cover in one of the corners. These are not organized in any specific way, so I apologize for that. But we will start talking. Now, I don't plan on finishing all of these. There are 18, I think, books on this TBR, and I have some options in case for 2 of the prompts in case I decide I don't like the book I chose, or I'm just not interested in the book I chose at that particular moment. I don't have one for all of them, so all of these are subject to change, but some of them I definitely want to finish, and I will tell you which ones they are. So I guess the way Medieval-A-Thon works is you have ranks. There are 7 ranks, technically 8 if you count. If you read 0 books in the month of May, you are a prisoner, but there are 7 weight ranks moving up like in class, and the 7th one is Empress. I am planning on trying to Empress. I am trying to gain that rank, not necessarily because I want to be that rank, but because I do plan on reading at least 7 books. Then they have outfits and weapons and pets, and they each have a list of prompts for those. So let's get into it. Before we get into it, one thing to note. I will be doing weekly vlogs instead of what I did with the Owls Readathon. I just did one really long one. So starting on Friday, we will be doing weekly vlogs. However, I will start reading, and I'll tell you why. I'll start reading some of these books early, mainly because I am doing a really long drive tomorrow to go to my dorm and get all the stuff. Normally, all my stuff out of it. Normally, it would only be 3.5 hours, but one of the main bridges we have to take has damage on it, and it's broken basically down. They closed it so no one can go over it, and I guess in case an accident occurs. So I have to take a different route I've never gone through before. It's going to be really long. It might be like 5 hours because I don't know how far it takes me out of the way. So I will be listening to one of the books, and I'll tell you which one when we get there. So let's start out with outfits, because there are not prompts for the ranks. So starting out with outfits. The first outfit, which I don't know, I'm not going to try and like show you guys pictures of them. I just don't think I'll be able to do it. So I will just link the video in the description, and I'll put it in the little eye icon so you guys can find it. Medieval-A-Thon is hosted by, oh gosh, Holly Hart's Books, I think? Holly Hart's Books, yes. So it is hosted by her. So for the first outfit, the prompt is book with yellowed pages. This book has actually got more than yellow pages. It is actually a little messy. And this is Ink Death by Cornelia Funk. This fulfills the prompt because the pages are in fact quite yellowed. I have previously started this and have not finished it yet, and I started it, oh gosh, I was like moving from California to Texas. So I was 11 or 12, depending on when we moved. And I lost the copy, and I just never finished it. So I have not picked this up recently. I have not finished, obviously have not finished it. So this is the one. It also helps fulfill one of my book goals, which is to, oh gosh, what have you done? Okay. Which is to finish the Inkheart trilogy. So Inkheart follows these characters named, well, the father's name is Mo, and the girl's name is Maggie, I believe. Maggie. Her name's Maggie. And they have this ability to, like, read characters out of books, but it has, like, this drawback of something has to go into the book. So it's like they swap places with the characters in the book. And in the first book, you're following this villain who escaped from the book called Inkheart. And you follow it from there, and he's trying to not get back into Inkheart, but he's trying to, like, take over, like, our world. So that's what this book is the third book in this trilogy, so I can't really tell you much about what this one's about. First of all, I don't really remember all that much, but I do want to finish it, so. Also, I don't want to spoil this trilogy for you. Next is a pristine book. Now, if I can find it, because I didn't organize these, because I'm dumb. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. So, my pristine book was First Grave on the Right by Dariadna Jones. I probably butchered that name. This is one of the books I want to finish soon, because this is a book I got from my Scribbler box. In fact, the 2 books I got from last month's Scribbler box will be on this TBR. Spoiler. So that box came with 2 books, so I got First Grave on the Right is the first one. It does come with its own little bookmark for a different book that she wrote, A Bad Day for Sunshine. So I'm going to be using that bookmark for this book. This one follows a girl named Charlie Davidson. She is a part-time investigator and full-time Grim Reaper. So she can see ghosts of, like, the people who died, and she helps them move on. So it's, like, her job to have them move on. But sometimes they were, like, murdered, suicide, you know, they didn't die under ideal circumstances, and so they want Charlie to bring them to justice. There's also this entity that follows her, and so she thought it was, like, this person, like this dead person, but she finds out that this person isn't actually dead, and she's, like, not really resisting him, but kind of, and she's like, and what does she have to lose by giving in? So I'm really excited to read this one. I'll admit it's not as pristine as it should have been. The dogs managed to get into my room, and the cats knocked over my bookcase, so it got a little torn up, but this is the book I plan on reading for that one. It's not really torn up, there's just little creases on the top. Then I have, for Shiny Book, which is the third outfit, I have The Cold is in Her Bones by Petronelle von Arsdale. So it's kind of got this more subtle shine to it. I'm not even sure you guys can get it on camera. Maybe if I put my flashlight on it, you guys can see. Because like in the yellow light, you can see it. Or with my lamp, but I just don't know. Because that light's coming from behind me. It has like this subtle shine to it. It's not so obvious. So this one takes place in a world where there are demons, and they are very dangerous, obviously. So on the back it says, to protect your home from demons, 1, if you see a snake, kill it, then burn it. 2, pour salt where the air comes in, sills, thresholds, hearths. 3, stay inside after dark, lock tight doors and windows. 4, pray. So in this world we follow Milla, and she lives on her family farm. She doesn't go to the village. I think it's only her dad that gets to go. Her only friend is her beloved older brother, Nicholas. Then a bright-eyed girl named Iris comes to stay, and there's a secret in this world. So like in this world or in this village, every year there's a girl that gets possessed by a demon. And so the townspeople live in terror of who will come for next. Now it seems the demon has come for Iris. When Iris is captured and imprisoned with other possessed girls, Mila leaves home to rescue her and break the curse forever. Her only company on the journey is a new terrible secret of her own. Mila is changing too and may soon be a demon herself. So this one is the shiny book. I'm super excited for this one. This is another one that I definitely want to finish in the month of May. So we have that one. The next, I have two options for, just in case. And it's 4 is favorite color on the spine, and so my favorite color is blue, so I chose The Belgariad by David Eddings. This one is about this young farm lad named Garion, and he loves stories. And there's like a prophecy that he might fulfill. There's like this evil god named Torak, and he fought a war to obtain an object of immense power, the Lord of Eldur. He was defeated by Belgrath, the sorcerer, but he is stirring again. So Garion hears these stories from a storyteller, I guess, about Torak, and he's like, it has nothing to do with me. However, the prophecy comes up again, and Torak is stirring again, so he might be the one. I could have used this for several different prompts, but this is the prompt I went with. This one's not necessarily a priority, but I do really want to read it eventually. If this turns out not to be like what I'm looking for this month, I'm not really in the mood for it, I also want to read The Reader by The Reader, Book 1 of Sea of Ink and Gold. And this is by Tracy Chi. And this one follows Sephia. She lives on her life on the run. Her father is officially murdered. She flees to the forest with her aunt Nin, the only person left she can trust. They survive in the wilderness together, hunting and stealing what they need, forever looking over their shoulders for new threats. Nin is kidnapped, so Sephia is suddenly on her own with no way to know who's taken Nin or where she is. Her only clue is a strange rectangular object, wonder what that is, that once belonged to her father. Something she comes to realize is a book. Though reading is unheard of in Sephia's world, she slowly learns unearthing the book's closely guarded secrets, which may be the key to Nin's disappearance and discovering what really happened the day her father was killed. So there is all that. There's a little bit more, but that's what this book is about. Now I'm more interested in that than I am the Belgariad. So these are the two options for favorite color on the spine. Next was a book under 300 pages, and so I chose Tebow and the Incredible Talking Dog and the Great Hort Hunt by Mary Burke Whitcomb. I was thinking about changing this one out, but this book is a book. This book is something I should have read a long, long time ago. It's one of the books my mom gave me to read, and I just never got around to it. So I think I'm going to do this. So it is under 300 pages. It is actually 210. If it does not prove to be up my speed, I do have another book, or actually quite a few books, that could work for this prompt as well. But I do really, really want to read this eventually. So, might as well read it now, right? The 6th outfit has green on the cover. And so while the Great Hort Hunt would work, we are only allowed to use one book per prompt. And so I'm going to use The Rise of Kyoshi by F.C.E. for green on the cover, because I'm super excited about reading this one. This one follows Avatar Kyoshi as she learns to use her powers, and I think there's like... Oh, she ends up going on the run. So basically, it's kind of almost like Avatar Aang, but different. Obviously, there's not as much, I guess, problems going on. We'll see. I will admit that I did love Avatar: The Last Airbender, the cartoon. I enjoyed Korra, The Legends of Korra. However, I did not like it as much, so we'll see how much or how invested I get into The Rise of Kyoshi. It is also one of the books I'm excited to read, so this is the third book I'm really excited to read. I don't think I've narrowed it down to like 7. It might be more, it might be less, but there's this one. The final outfit is Dragon on the cover, and I chose Chosen by Jada Fisher. I have that on my Kindle, so I'm afraid if I can't get a picture, my Kindle app. So I'll have to try and get a picture up here in the corner for you, but I can tell you what it is about. You are not the book I'm looking for right now. It is 154 pages, so that's good. Description. She is destined to soar with the dragons, but first she must be chosen. East, E-I-S-T, was born to be a dragon rider. She just knows it. When fate conspires to take her parents and leave her orphaned and injured, her future appears bleak. Unwilling to back down, she must overcome a system stacked against her. Even if she passes all the tests, there's no guarantee she will ever fly on a dragon. Can she beat the odds and find her destiny, or will she be stranded on the ground? So this is the first book in the Brindle Dragon series. So hopefully, this one is always free on Kindle Unlimited. Hopefully all the others are as well. There are 9 books. Oh gosh, okay. Yes, they are all on Kindle Unlimited, so super excited about that. So that one is for Dragon on the cover. So for my weapons, we have swords, double knives, like it's 2 knives, bow and arrow, axe, and shield. All of these I am super, super excited about reading. So we'll just get into it. So swords has something pointy on the cover, and I chose An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. So the pointy thing on the cover is the raven's beak. This one is about a girl named Isabel, and she's this prodigy artist. She's really great at all of this. Most of her clients seem to be the immortal fair folk or fae. And she has her first royal patron, Rook, the Autumn Prince, and she makes a terrible mistake. She ends up painting human sorrow, mortal sorrow in his eyes, a weakness that could cost him his life. So he, okay, would you stop walking over my laptop, please? Thank you. So he has, he comes to spirit her away to stand trial for a crime. Something is amiss, they are attacked from every side, forced to depend on each other for survival. Their alliance blossoms into trust, perhaps even love, a forbidden emotion that would render both their lives forfeit. So that's this. I am very excited. This one also might have worked for Shiny. It's just not as shiny. For the 2 knives, it's to start or finish a duology. I had a hard time with that because all of the duologies I currently own all the books of, I have finished. So I had to go on Scribd, and I found that Iona by Alison Goodman is on Scribd. I own the first book. I have not bought the second one. So Iona is going to be my pick for that one, and I will be finishing that duology. So Eon is about this. Okay, so in this world, there are people who bond with dragons. They're not necessarily dragon riders, but they bond with them, and then they get these dragons' powers. And normally, it's 7 kids are chosen to compete, and then there's only 1 that gets it. Iona is a girl, and this, according to the laws, only men can, or only males can participate in this dragon trials. And so she ends up having the ability to see strands of magic and all of that. And so her sponsor makes her pretend to be a boy. and she is tasked with trying to win this competition, obviously. So the first book kind of follows that. There's a little bit more to it as well, because it's only like, I think like the first third of the book is about that. So I can't really tell you much about what Eon is about, first because I don't really know, but second of all because it would totally spoil Eon. So I already reread Eon recently, so it's pretty good that I did that now that I'm reading Eona. For Bow and Arrow, it's a romance. So I was originally going to read To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. However, I've managed to misplace that book. So the book I have come up with for that one is actually my other book I got in the Scribbler box. And that is Buzzkill by David Sunosky. And so this one follows like these two hackers who basically, we have Pandora Lynch and there is George Jetson, and both of them are hackers. So Pandora lives with her single dad in Alaska, who is an online therapist for Silicon Valley's brightest and squirreliest. She's homeschooled by computer and a self-taught hacker. She's about to enter high school to learn how to be normal. That's the plan, at least. So it looks like this is like her first day in high school. So George Jetson is a North California runaway. He is also a hacker, one who leaves the system he attacks working better than before. After being scooped up by a social media giant, will George go legit or pull off the biggest hack ever? Not even his therapist knows for sure, but maybe the head shrinker's daughter. They meet in cyberspace, and the two young hackers combine their passions to conceive a brainchild named Buzz. Can this baby AI learn to behave, or will it be like its parents and think outside the box? So I think they end up falling in love. On the back, it does say, two young hackers with the brains to save the world, or at least change it. What can go wrong? So I think they end up falling in love. So there's that. So I'm excited to read that one as well. On the topic of my Scribbler Box books, I am sorry I have not posted a review for If You Tell by Greg Olson. I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how to review this because it was such a dark book, and it is nonfiction. Like, this stuff actually happens, so it's not like you can say, I don't like the characters, because these characters were, like, real people. So, like, some of them, like, really acted like this, so you might not like them, but that's just how it is. So there is that. So for Axe, it's a heavy book, and so I chose, because I really, really need to finish this, The Fate of the Dwarves by Marcus Heights. This book is over 700 pages. I think it's 752 if you don't count, like, the acknowledgments and the character lists. I am a good chunk of the way through it, so this one is not going to be, like, a full read. This is also the book I'm planning on listening to when I drive to my college, because I do have still a good chunk of the way, and having 5 hours to just listen to this, it would help immensely. So I'm super excited to read this one. I do have other books that are longer, or other books that I might try to read, or that I'm planning on trying to read. So there is that. So this one is the 4th book in the Dwarves series. There are 5 books, and I really, really want to finish this so I can read the Alfar series. If you've watched my other vlogs, you've heard me say that repeatedly, because I still haven't finished this book. We follow Tungdil, who is a dwarf, and he grew up outside of the dwarf kingdoms. He ends up growing up with this mage called Lot Ionan, I think is how they pronounce his name on the audiobook. I do have it on audiobooks.com, so I'm super excited to finally finish this one. Tungdil kind of gets involved almost by accident in this plot in the first book, and the rest of the series is basically him getting involved in more plots. They definitely take a darker twist in the 3rd book, so I will warn you of that one. This one's also kind of dark, but so far I think the 3rd one was the worst when it comes to gore and just general trigger warnings, so there's that. Shield. So the next one is a Shield, and that is a book with high expectations. And so for that, I chose Fox by Nadine Brands. Now this one is not a book I have high expectations for because I know a lot of people who read it. I have high expectations for this book just because I read the synopsis and I loved it. The cover is also stunning. This one would also work for blue on the spine, but I can only use it for one, so. Thomas Fox is turning to stone, and the only cure to the stone plague is to join his father's plot to assassinate the King of England. Silent wars leave the most carnage, the wars that are never declared but are carried out in dark alleys with masks and hidden knives. Wars where color power alters the natural rhythm of 17th century London. Sounds like a historical fantasy. And when the king calls for peace, no one listens until he finally calls for death. But what if death finds him first? Keepers think the igniters caused the plague. Igniters think the keepers did it. But all Thomas knows is that the stone plague infecting his eye is spreading. And if he doesn't do something soon, he'll be a lifeless statue. So when his keeper father, Guy Fawkes, invites him to join the gunpowder plot, claiming it will put an end to the plague, Thomas is in. The plan? Use 36 barrels of gunpowder to blow up the igniter king. The problem? Doing so will destroy the family of the girl Thomas loves, but backing out of the plot will send his father and the other plotters to the gallows. To save one, Thomas will lose the other. No matter Thomas's choice, one thing is clear. Once this decision is made and the color mask have been put on, there's no turning back. I am super excited to read this one, and I hope that it's as good as I expect it to be. I'm expecting this to be a 5-star read. So, for Chicken is a very... I moved on to pets now. So for Chicken, it's a scary book. So I chose Duma Key by Stephen King. Now, I don't know anything about the book. The reason I chose this is actually I do want to get into Stephen King. This is probably not the book to get me into Stephen King, to be honest. I don't know anything about it. I don't think I've even heard of it. The only reason I'm doing this one is I was inspired by Books and Lala's reading like Aries for a week. And while I'm not going to be doing that video, was like, well, I'm a Gemini. So let's see, if there's any books specifically, what do Gemini read? And so this book came up as a book that would scare Geminis. So I will be reading that solely because I'm kind of interested. Will this actually scare Geminis? Or will it scare me because it's scary? Like, I'm terrified of everything. So, I don't even have to be a Gemini for this book to scare me. So we'll see. We'll also see if I enjoy it, because it did say, we will enjoy it. However, if I'm not enjoying it, or I don't think it's for me, or if it does end up being too scary, I do want to read another Stephen King book, and that is Under the Dome by... Okay, well, I just told you who it was by. I don't know much about this. I know just down Route 119 in Chester Mill, May, all hell is about to break loose. So to tell you why I got this book, I did read the synopsis of this book a while back. My brother owns it, and I wanted to see what it was about. And it interested me back then. I forgot what it's about, though. On an entirely normal, beautiful fall day, a small town is suddenly and inexplicably sealed. Okay, hello guys. So my camera stops recording after 29 minutes, and as you can tell, this video is over 29 minutes long. So basically, it cut itself off, cut the video off, and then turned off while I was still recording, and I didn't notice. So the last book you saw was for Chicken, and that is a scary book. And I did choose Duma Key by Stephen King, but in case that one didn't work out, I have Under the Dome. I don't know how much I got to talk to you guys about this, so I'll just go over a brief synopsis of the book, and then we'll move on. So Under the Dome follows this Iraq vet who is a short order cook now, and him and some other citizens now are trying to take down this ruthless politician that is trying to take over this town underneath this dome. In the last part says, but their main adversary is the dome itself, because time isn't just running short, it's running out. The dome basically just doesn't let anyone enter or leave it, so there is that. So there's that. That was for the prompt of chicken. The next prompt is goat, and it is a book higher on your shelf. And I chose The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. This is about Rosemary Harper, and she joins the crew of the Wayfarer. And she's looking mainly for a spot to call home, a chance to explore the far-off corners of the galaxy and some distance from her past. And I guess she finds this within this crew. It does go into a brief description of all the members. And they end up going on this journey that will earn them a lot of money and they'll be able to live comfortably for several years. But but it's very, risky, and it could end with, death. And so she's like, I didn't really sign up for this. But I guess we get to see her go along with it anyway. So a dog, I don't have the book that we chose currently with me. Dog is to buddy read with a friend. And so the friend I'm going to try and buddy read with is Gabby. This book is subject to change. I don't even have it with me currently. I think it's still in my college dorm room. So I'll be picking it up. Well, technically I'm coming home Saturday, but I'm packing up on Friday. So this is, the book I chose is Moby Dick by something Sherman, I think. I forgot who. And there is, Moby Dick is a classic about this, character that gets on a boat and it ends in tragedy, and that's, all I know about it. This one is subject to change. Gabby is in control of this, so she can decide not to read that book and read a different book that I will read with her. So there is that. That's the one that's most subject to change, but it's also one of the books I'm super excited to read. Cat. So I did have a cat that came up and I was able to show you, but I can't do that now because none of them are coming up. But Cat is a title, starts with a C, and this was supposed to be China Rich Girlfriend by Kevin Kwan, but I haven't finished Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan, and I don't see myself being able to finish this before Friday, so this is going to be the one I'm reading. This one follows Rachel Chu and her boyfriend Nicholas Young. Nicholas Young is from Singapore, and he is really, really rich. And so she ends up getting entangled in all these politics and familial relations, and basically because she's not rich and that she's not from Singapore, his family doesn't really like her, and so she's basically painted a target on her back because she is with him. That's what this one's about. I am on page 189. I am enjoying it so far. There are some plot points that are a little annoying just because I don't like those plot points in general, but so far it's so good. Next is Horse, and it's a tall hardcover, and so I chose Once and Future by Amy Rose Capetta and Corey McCarthy. This book basically follows this girl. Her name's pronounced either Ari or Ari. I'm not entirely sure. She's a fugitive in this area that is area of space, which is controlled by the Mercer Corporation, and she somehow gets she somehow crash lands on old Earth, and she ends up pulling a magic sword or Excalibur out of its ancient resting place. She is the 42nd reincarnation of King Arthur. She also ends up meeting Merlin, who is somehow de-aging, and so he's basically cursed to de-age, and now he's a teenager, which I hope he's as snarky and sassy and interesting as Merlin from the BBC series, so that's probably an expectation I have. So he's trained dozens of Arthurs, but now she's a girl, so he thinks she might finally be the one that wins. But she wants nothing to do with Merlin's talk of quests and knights and dragons. She just wants to use her new power to find a way home. But the Mercer Corporation has been hiding a terrible, world-destroying secret, and will do anything to stop her from uncovering the truth. I've heard, so I think this one's really well liked on Goodreads. However, it seems to be not well liked on BookTube. I think the highest I've seen it rated is 3 stars. Maybe I'm just watching the wrong people. But I am interested, and it is a book I do want to finish. However, it's not one of the ones I want to finish by the end of the month. Obviously I do, but if I don't, it's not the end of the world, so we'll see. The next one is for a fox, so even though this is not a typical pet, it is a pet you can own. And this one's just orange on the cover, and so I chose The Grave Robber of Genghis Khan. This is by P.B. Kerr. It is the 7th and final book in this series. It will help me finish off one of my bookish goals, which is to finish the series, obviously. This one follows these two characters named John and Philippa, who are twins. And they basically are learning how to control their powers, and they go on all these adventures. So this is the 7th book in the series. I believe this would be considered a middle grade, so yes. Alright, so that's it for this vlog. I now need to put these two videos together and then try and post this on YouTube, and then I'm going to bed after I pack.